All the Fat Controller's engines liked to look clean, bright and shiny. James was in the workshop being repainted. He was beside himself with joy. The workmen painted and polished for hour upon hour. Then with new paint shining, brass twinkling and blacking black, James returned to Tidmouth's shops. "Aren't I a beautiful red?" he asked the others. "No wonder the Fat Controller thinks I'm special." "Looking splendid is not the same as being really useful," said Thomas firmly. "But best of all is being really useful and looking splendid, like me," said James cheerfully. Before Thomas could say anything else, James closed his eyes and fell happily asleep. The next morning, the Fat Controller came to see James. He told him to join Percy at the coal plant at once. "The coal trucks must reach Brendam docks before the boat sails, so no dilly-dallying," he said. But James didn't go straight to the coal plant. He decided to go by the canal instead. Then he could see himself in the water for yard after yard. James had forgotten what the Fat Controller had said. At the coal yard, Percy was working as hard as he could, but he was falling behind. The line of trucks was getting longer and longer, and the yard manager was getting crosser and crosser. James was still enjoying himself, but there was no one around to share his fun, so he headed straight for the branch lines. James saw Thomas. "Don't I look fine?" "You should be at work," called Thomas. Poor Percy was almost worn out. "What will happen to the order now?" cried the yard manager. When James rolled into the coal mines, it was late in the afternoon. Percy was cross. So was the yard manager. "To make up for lost time, you must take an extra long line of trucks to the docks." James was delighted. The docks were always bustling with engines and people. "The trucks are being very naughty," warned Percy. But James wasn't listening. James puffed along, looking forward to being seen. But the trucks were naughtier than ever. They rocked and rolled. James's face was soon covered in soot. Going downhill, the trucks wiggled and giggled. Coal tumbled out of the trucks, landing on James. James was cross and biffed the trucks as hard as he could. More coal flew out. Now James didn't want to be seen, but on his way to the docks, he kept passing his friends. Thomas thought the only red thing left on James was his face. James trundled into Brendam docks. He hoped no one would see him. But Gordon was at the docks with the express. He could not believe his eyes. He thought James was the grubbiest, grimiest, dirtiest engine he had ever seen. Percy arrived safely with the last of the trucks. "I like your new coat of paint," he puffed cheekily. "You do look splendid." James knew he should have listened. He didn't feel splendid anymore. But for the first time all day, James could hear clearly. He could hear the sound of the trucks giggling at him. And despite feeling foolish, even James had to smile.